Get ready, because the CS2 gold trade ups I'm about to show you might be the fastest way to make insane amounts of money in the coming weeks. I've crunched the numbers to find the most profitable combinations, and I'll share exactly which trade ups have the highest return potential. Now, the general strategy is to find collections that have lots of expensive golds, but also have cheap reds that do not require specific floats. I started by visiting CSROI, which shows the average prices for the golds in each case, based on CSFloat prices. Please note that these values are extremely volatile right now. I took the first set of numbers about 48 hours after the update dropped, on the 25th of October. But since then, it seems prices have significantly climbed already, so I took a second set of data on the 1st of November. I then went on to CSFloat, on which I've been able to buy the specific skins we're looking for at up to 80% off the current Steam market prices with buy orders. So I'll show you how to set that up later on. For now, I went through each collection one by one to find the cheapest reds listed on the market. I then calculated the ratio between the average gold and red prices. Since it takes 5 coverts for one knife trade up, a ratio of exactly 5 means you're breaking even on average. So the higher, the better here. Of course, this is not a perfect system. I'm well aware floats are an important part of trade ups. Plus, just because there's one cheap skin listed doesn't mean there's enough to consistently fill trade ups. I did try to exclude any clear outlier prices from the data and used field tested skins as a midpoint for prices, but I admit it's not exactly CERN level analysis. Nevertheless, I think it gives us a strong read on what's potentially profitable that we can use as a guideline to then get more precise results using other tools. Once I sorted all the cases by return potential, I got some interesting results. While there are a ton of options here all above the 100% mark, which means on average you're getting a positive return, there are a couple collections I want to highlight in particular, the Chroma and Gamma cases. These have several significant advantages over other collections near the top, including all of the glove collections like the Revolution, Clutch, Hydra, or even Spectrum, and here's why. Firstly, half of the knives in the Chroma collection are float capped, meaning you'll always get a factory new output no matter which inputs you use. Compare that to the gloves, which are entirely the opposite, and actually very difficult to trade up to in low floats, making it almost impossible to even get to minware without significant overpay for low float items. Before we continue, if you want to find loads of profitable trade ups with the new system, you should check out this video's sponsor, TradeUp Lab. TradeUp Lab publishes profitable trade up combinations every single day, entirely for free. Just click the link in the description and you'll get all the information you need. Collections, rarities, input floats, profitability, you name it, all laid out for you. Prices are updated daily based on cscoskins.gg API to maximize returns. You can filter trade ups by cost, profit margin, or collection. So whether you're going for safer profits or high risk, high reward combinations, it's all there. Plus, with a minimum of 5 profitable trade ups published every day, there's enough chances for everyone to get in on the action. Be sure to check them out, and big thanks to TradeUp Lab for supporting the channel. The reason glove trade ups look profitable here is because of a few ultra high-end factory new items like the Pandora's Box or Hedge Mazes, for example, pushing up the average gold price. But realistically, the odds of hitting them aren't great, even with 5 coverts from those collections. I'd say at best it's 1 in 4 for a top glove from the case, and the input overpay will be huge to get the floats low enough to hit the high-end items. If you want to take on more risk and spend upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 per trade up to have a chance at those, be my guest. But this video is focused on which ones are likely to more consistently make you money. For the Chroma cases, half of your pools are guaranteed to be factory new. This is not the same for the Gamma case, which only has the Gamma Doppler finish float capped. However, both of these cases feature the Karambit and M9 bayonet, 2 of the most desirable knives in the entire game, plus the bayonet itself as a third option. If we compare this to the Spectrum case, for instance, which has the same finishes as the Chroma case, its gold lineup is a lot weaker. You're heavily relying on hitting a butterfly to make your money. Finally, the inputs for these knife collections are simply cheaper than for the gloves, so your entry cost is lower and more accessible. The trade-off is that this could also mean supply of knives from these collections rises faster. Although thanks to this data collected by Roadrunner, we can see that even if we traded up every single skin in existence from every case, supply would only increase by about 75 to 115% at most. and will in reality, of course, be lower than this. Once we've identified these profitable trade ups, we can visit a site like Skin Search and input our specific items, prices, and float values to get more precise numbers, since it actually uses real-time data and calculates the output floats exactly. Now we can see that if we put in our field-tested Shantico's Fire from the Chroma 3 collection at about $91, the real profitability is 171%, which is actually higher than our 155% estimate from earlier. But if we put in field-tested AK headshots from the Revolution collection, the actual profitability is slightly lower than the predicted 144%, since we're not getting any of those factory new glove prices pushing the average up. Obviously, there will be profitable combinations for gloves, but the Chroma knives are just so straightforward and easy to find inputs for. If we look at Gamma, profitability is sitting at 162%, Spectrum at 149%, and the OG glove collection actually returns negative ROI at just 53% returns with 0.3 field tested inputs, as the float cap of the SSG Dragonfire really hurts the outputs, most coming out in battle scarred condition. If you want to learn more about how the new trade up formula works, you can check out this video linked in the description. Another interesting option is the breakout case, as you're guaranteed a butterfly. While the return here sits at 154%, there's less variation in the prices compared to some of the other cases. So if you're not able to do many trade ups to get to the average, this one gives you strong odds to make a profit on each individual trade up, and even the biggest loss is just $231. Overall, while the Chroma collections seem to quite clearly be the best, my advice is to take a look at this table, then use Skin Search to test the specific floats you're able to pick up. I also added 2 columns to my spreadsheet, pre-update and midpoint. The pre-update column is 40% higher than the November prices, based on the average gold prices I collected about a month before the update, giving you an idea how much potential growth there is if prices were to return to their all-time highs. I don't believe this will be the case, at least not for a while, but even if we're conservative and say it gets halfway back to where it was from where we are now, so it ends up at about 85% of pre-update prices in the weeks and months to come, you could still be making a minimum of 2x returns on these trade ups. Not too bad at all. I'll also add I would definitely stay away from trade ups to active duty golds if your goal is to maximize profit and hold long term. The Gamma and Chroma collection golds are great because they are from older, more expensive cases that are not being opened much relative to the active duty ones, so far less supply of new skins is coming into existence. This should help mean that knife trade ups are mostly limited to existing skin supply. Now in terms of buying the actual skins to trade up, I've been using CSFloat. If you click on a skin, you can then hit the create button next to buy orders. Prices will evolve over time, so be sure to take a look at existing listings, recent sales, and of course how the golds are tracking to ensure it remains profitable. Once the ratio dips below 5, you're entirely banking on prices rising. If you want to add specific float ranges, depending on which collection you're going for, you can do that in the Advanced tab. Once the buy order is set up, you will automatically purchase any new listings added to the site. And you can see that this is working out nicely for me so far. Sometimes even getting them for just $20, while they're going for around $80 on Steam, increasing that return by even more. With all that being said, remember that these numbers are based on averages and profit is not guaranteed. Trade ups are a gamble just like cases always were, albeit with better odds. Be sure not to spend any money you can't afford to lose. If you want to learn about one of the best CS2 investing strategies that has made me tens of thousands of dollars over the last few years, be sure to check out this video next. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and take care of yourselves.